Welcome to the Top Corner Podcast, and today we're celebrating the World Cup, and we got a guest here.
Give that
Iron,
first.
Iron,
Give
yeah.
that cup a round of fucking applause.
Yeah.
Do it.
Iron in the building.
And then and then more applause for Iwan.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, guys.
Another one for Unfiltered Pot.
Yep.
All right.
Anyone else? Anyone else? We're good. Anyone else out there? We're
I
good.
think we're
All right,
good.
all right.
We just gotta talk about this World Cup, man. It's been a pleasure watching the games and watching a lot of games, which I haven't watched a lot as I wish I was watching, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. How do you guys feel about this World Cup so far?
Really fast. You've seen the meme of Pep talking to nobody in an empty chair, right? Where it's like they're like,
Yeah.
I've watched all 4 matches of every match day since this started, and it's Pep giving tactics to an empty chair. It's like that is slightly what
It's
it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all.
And there's nothing like a summer tournament football.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when the World Cup come around, it's amazing how easy everybody can get caught up in watching the games.
Yeah.
Even the non-fan, like a soccer fan in general,
Yeah.
watching them interact with this and be excited about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Amazing.
and it just shows how important too that it's not just international football, and it's not just international football from other continents
Yeah.
that are playing. It's the fact that everyone's in one location.
Yep.
You know, it's
Yeah.
it's the hosting nation and the interactions and engagements of all cultures under a separate
Separately.
entity itself. Like that makes it so much different. And sometimes you forget because it is every 4 years, and that's
Yep.
what makes it special.
Yeah.
But when it does finally come back around again, you do go, the CONCACAF Gold Cup,
Combine.
UEFA, the Euros, it's still not anywhere near like this.
Yeah, I think the World Cup is like the biggest celebration.
By
The big
far,
sleep-
yeah.
Yeah, it's the scale of it and the fact that like we are witnessing the history because this is the first time they're having 48 teams.
Teams,
Yeah.
There's more teams. There's more crazy fan. From Scotland fan to Netherlands fan.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That one
fun.
has been a blast because I've seen a lot of memes about the Scottish in Boston.
Taking over Boston, yeah.
And apparently they ran Boston dry. There was no beer, and they kept
That's awesome.
complaining.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
We're closer than you think that we are, boys.
Yeah,
we're
definitely.
one and the same.
But what do you guys think about 48 teams though? Because there's a lot of, some people have gone to kind of accept it now, but there was a lot of backlash. Some people felt like 48 might be too much, or it kind of watered down or dilute the whole competition itself. But there's also a lot of teams more. Like you got to think about other teams or other countries that came into light with a national team, aka example Curaçao, Cabo Verde.
Yeah.
Like I know some people haven't heard of these teams, but there's a lot more teams. A lot more teams means
Yeah, and even though it seems like Norway probably would have qualified with 32 teams, I mean they're still back for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean there is dilution with the amount of teams that come in. That goes without saying. Like the more teams that come in, the less qualified that certain ones are. But it is still interesting to be a part of history, kind of like you said, of like because they expanded once from 16 to 32.
Yeah.
and that's a special thing. And so you get used to the way that things are, but then you should sometimes celebrate that big change. And we kind of celebrated the Champions League change in format. Whether or not we like it as much as the old one still remains to be seen. But it is always interesting being on the cusp or in that inception of a new structure or new idea. So it is nice seeing those other teams around. But once it gets past the group stages and really the round of 32, this new made up knockout round that they have, then it gets really, kind of back to the basics of here are the absolute best squads in the world.
See, my point has always been that even though it's everybody get opportunity to qualify, it was such small for it to be a global event.
yeah.
Now I feel like the rest of the world is actually participating because there's more countries in it. But I do get people point because the game like Curacao versus Germany, 7-1.
Yeah.
But I'll put also the opposite and say like, yes, you might put it down because of Curacao game, but I say I won this format because of Cape Verde against Spain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A small island
That's true.
putting up against number 2 team in the nation, like in the world rank.
Yeah.
So for those type of games where a 40-year-old making his debut at the World Cup that he think that he will never get to,
Yeah.
and putting a man of the match performance. That's the reason why we love his sport.
The Verde and the Curacao one, like those are the exact opposites of it's like one is the tie that is unbelievable, like that tie is a victory, and then the other one's an absolute slaughter. Although you know Germany put 7 past Brazil, so it's not
they're
capable of doing it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's very true, and I think also we live for the stories, like the underdogs, the fairy tales, and all these other extras that comes with it, like the guy getting so much recognition on social media, that goalkeeper, and just other people, and just you would think it's easy matchup, right? And you get Cabo Verde and Spain, and I thought these guys would be killing Cabo Verde. I didn't.
You know where they found that goalkeeper too, right?
No, I didn't.
They reached out to him on LinkedIn.
For real?
I'm serious. Yeah. They mentioned it at I think someone on one of the African pundits on ESPN FC said it. Yeah, there's LOL. You down for the cup? He's like, fuck, I guess I am. But he phenomenal performance.
That's what we live for. But so far, what has been the game or the match that you guys have seen and you did not see that coming? You thought there would be a ragdoll by the bigger team, but they didn't. And they held their own.
To me, I think like I just watched it today because I was expecting a lot more from Portugal. But the DR Congo Leopards came in and actually put up a decent fight, and they were pretty good. They struggled a little bit during the African Cup qualification.
Yeah.
But that's because Wissa was injured for most of it.
Yeah.
Wissa is back. He's very dangerous up top, and if you leave him open in the box, he's going to score goals. I just did not expect Portugal to be that toothless.
Yeah, between them and Spain, it's like and really, you know, Brazil as well, of just kind of feeling a bit directionless. A lot of these guys, these big, you know, kind of like that Mount Rushmore, are kind of you know, a bit more disappointing. Obviously there's room to grow, but really, you know, and it's a long tournament, but individual teams don't play that many matches, so that they, like, one match in the group stage is easy for you to go, well, it's just for starters. It was like, there's only 3 matches in this group stage, boys. And, like, yes, a lot of those third places move on, but you as Spain don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to be the third place moving on in that seeded format, you know?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, I usually say, now that the world is more open, even all these small teams, yes, they're small teams on paper and name because they don't have the legacy that you guys have. But the fact that a lot of these players play in their leagues, or even either have been born there and just got heritage, Congolese or whatsoever, and they come back and play. So it also says a lot about the level of competition, because it also raises the level of competition. I mean, when you watch Morocco, Brazil, I actually picked Morocco because people thought I was dumb. I said, if Brazil goes there and play, Morocco is gonna beat them.
Yeah, like historically speaking, obviously Brazil is massive compared, but in terms of the last 4 or 5 years or so, and what Morocco has been consistently doing in AFCON, it's like, yeah, I mean they kind of are the favorites in this matchup. It's odd to say that, and you don't want to rule any of the big teams out in the World Cup because there's a reason that they are who they are. They show up. But yeah, I mean I'm with you on that. It was one of those where you expect Morocco, if it was over 2 legs, them to get the better, but obviously that's not how this format's structured.
So Brazil still have like the superstar, not to the level like we know them.
Yeah, amazing.
Especially
individual
the era of
players.
the R's, the 4 R's, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, like Robinho and all of that.
Yeah.
But Vini was the difference here. Otherwise, they were dominated by Morocco.
Yeah.
Morocco was incredible.
They remind me a bit of England, not in their play style, but in the fact that they have, in recent history, still great individual talent. Every single person on the roster is amazing and is playing at the top level. But as a team, their cohesion is not quite working. You can't look at that Brazilian squad and say, well, they're missing a lot of, big players. No, like, those are massive Brazilian players in world football today. They just can't quite get it together as a unit and really impress anybody.
That's also why one of the things I love about the national teams or national competition, because it's not about how good you are in your club, because in your club, there's time to create synergy, chemistry, because you guys play days in, day out, week in, week out, right? And you kind of know what X is going to do. So when Yamal is on that left side, he kind of knows, Rafinha knows what Lamar is going to do. There's that link up. It's already built in. Now, when you go back in national clubs, how good you are to in that short period to integrate with the team. How do you guys, then that's what makes a difference for me. I want to see how you can do that at that level.
Well, and then even in club football, you're right. I mean, you spend more time with your teammates, but also you adapt your play style as a team to a domestic league where you're playing, 38, 34 games a year. Like it's not just about how you play well as a unit, but it's what to expect as a Premier League side from other Premier League teams, and you all adapt that way. When it's Curacao and I'm just in England, England's looking at that going, we don't really know how they play. It's like because you're used to going into matchups knowing we know what to expect from you guys tactically and athletically, but with unknown clubs or even just other clubs, sometimes you do 4 years makes a hell of a difference between Switzerland's. Like you don't really know exactly what's going to happen. So there is a lot of guessing, and with not that many games for you to mess up in that guessing process.
Any big names so far that played or plays at a big level in club level and in World Cup so far haven't proven or lived up to standard?
I'll say this really fast. You asked me who impressed more, and it's not like I'm not going to pick a small nation. I would like to just remark on the fact, and it's not even an American bias, because I'm not overly attached to the national team, but they're playing a lot better than expected immediately, and tactically they do look far more European than a lot of these American sides have in the past. They were linking up pass plays together, and it's like you don't want to just say, oh, they play like PSG, because like the quality is separate, but the way that they were linking through balls in very tight spaces, like that looks more like those one-touch sort of tactical operations in a lot of the top-tier European sides.
Like I will second that. Like this is the first time I actually watch a U.S. game. I'm like, wow, they're actually that good. And I was screaming on my TV, say, that's Pochettino game. That is Pochettino 100%.
With all
DNA.
the backlash he has received too.
That is Pochettino, prime Pochettino with Tottenham and with PSG. His team pressed the life out of you. His team creates multiple chances, especially through the cutback and all of that. I'm like, wow, that was the best I've seen U.S. played in a long time. And you're right. I think because it's like it was the second day of the tournament, people forget how impressive U.S. was and how impressive they were even after they took Christian Pulisic out.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think that match also converted a lot of the U.S. fans that probably did not even know about soccer too. But
because I growing up here, I know what it feels like to when the U.S. basically the two most popular sports are the sports that they created. And so it's really easy to just kind of gravitate toward that instead of a sport where you're not one of the best in the world, but you're far from the worst either. Like I've been telling people, they're like, I've heard that we're bad. I'm like, we're 17th in the world. They're like, really? That's still really good. You're like, yeah. Like, so we might not be the number one we might not be the absolute best at this, but at the end of the day, 17th out of the entire world is phenomenal. And they're finally winning people over like that, because if we can't be the best, we kind of just because we have other sports that we are the best. There's no other country that can compete with the NBA or the NFL, so we just gravitate toward that. And I understand that. I feel like more countries that would have a singular sport developed in their own nation, it'd be very popular as well. Muay Thai in Thailand is more popular there than anywhere else because they invented it. So there's a natural gravitation toward that. But you're right. I think that some American fans are really looking at that going, oh, look, we're not only decent, we have the capacity to be playing. We're playing very well. Whether or not that maintains over the tournament, it remains to be seen.
But to answer your question, who's been disappointing, like this is gonna hurt me because I'm like probably one of his biggest fan, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo looked washed in his first game in this tournament. I'm like, that is like for the first time I watched Ronaldo play. I'm like, that's a 41-year-old, and he actually doesn't deserve to be on the field at this particular time, and to play 90 minutes and contribute nothing to your team. Just feel bad. And I come away in that game saying, Portugal will be better without Ronaldo. And that statement alone sounds ridiculous and painful, but true at the same time.
One thing on that in 1 second, but do either of you know Rory Jennings? He's kind of like a non-professional pundit. Well, he might as well be professional. He's paid for it now. He made a bet with Piers Morgan that Cristiano Ronaldo would not score in this entire tournament. Now, he did not specify if it was going to be from outward play or from penalties, because if it's penalties, you have to think that they're gonna draw at least one penalty, and Ronaldo's gonna take it. But if he had made that bet for outward play, I agree. I don't think a goal is gonna come from Ronaldo in regular non-set piece related play.
Yeah, and you just feel bad for a player because this team is the most talented Portugal team has ever been assembled around Cristiano Ronaldo. It's just 6 years too late.
That's true.
It's just 6 years too late.
Do you really? So their problem also is that they just don't really have many center forward options. Genuine question, because some people still don't think so. That even though Ronaldo's not good enough, and no one's debating that he's dropped off. Is he in his current form? Is he still better than Gonzalo Ramos up top right now?
No, he's not.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
He's not.
But a lot of people don't agree with that, even though they will admit that Ronaldo is nowhere near the quality to be starting for a Portugal side.
I think Ronaldo's been also victim of his own game because because he relied so much on athleticism and speed.
Yeah.
That's where you can now kind of see the difference. Because I remember, just for the basketball fan, I remember this question popped up and they said, Steph Curry can play that all his life if he doesn't get injured. Because it's a lot of 3 points, although the fitness might drop. So I think at this point you can see the game.
Yeah.
Because Pirlo could play for a long time too. That's also because the style of play.
Yeah, they don't rely on them being athletic and being fast, faster than people else. And also, perfect example is Messi. We always compare them by perfect example is Messi. Messi cannot run like he used to anymore, but he's still very good at picking his spot and all of that. The difference is the team was curated to make sure if Messi walk around, everybody else is giving 120%.
Yeah.
Portugal's not like that. Portugal's we got some of the best midfielders in the world. We got some of the best forward in the world. Why are these old men holding us back? That is Portuguese mentality right now. Yeah. Where in Argentina was those guys would die for Messi.
Exactly. Well, and then when everybody was debating about Messi being the better raw talent and then Ronaldo being the better trained talent, I never really saw it as that. You said it better, I think. It's more about play style.
Yeah.
And you're right, as you're getting older. I mean, Ronaldo and Messi were equally good at their own play styles. They played very differently. Mm-hmm. And why Messi's still able to continue at this level is because it was less about raw pace. It was more about dribbling. It was more technical. It was more about, dropping your shoulder, getting around that midfield right before you hit that back line and just curling one in the top corner. And you can do that in your 60s.
Yeah.
He will be able to get out of a wheelchair and put one in the top corner and then sit right back down in that wheelchair. Whereas Ronaldo's was based a lot more around raw pace and raw power. And as an athlete, that's the first thing to go, and that's just what we're seeing. Yeah. Ronaldo will still be able to dribble his ass off and shoot his ass off, same as Messi. But asking them to do what made them famous in their prime, Ronaldo is just going to taper off more quickly, and that's just the human body. It's less about talent, just the human body.
That's where you can kind of see how that play style is now to his own disadvantage. Because now you can't sustain that, especially at that age, and that's why a lot of if you're a good midfielder that don't rely on pace but more on intelligence with him and just slowing down the game.
Like Cruz could still play if he wanted to.
Yeah, players
easily playing.
It's so easy because you can always impact the game. But it is like Modric. Modric can always impact the game. He might not give you the 100% that he used to be, but the fact he can dictate the pace of that game, he can slow down that game. He can make sure the game goes his own way.
You just don't want him on transition. You're like, you know what, buddy, you go stand over in that corner. When we have a set piece, we'll bring you in. Yeah, and just get out of the wheelchair now. Yeah. Come on,
I would say so far, Messi for me has been he's lived up to the expectation. So now. For the people who like the debate, I don't know if there's a debate.
Especially not now. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a debate.
To me, it's always been my problem with Messi fan has always been since Messi won the World Cup, they completely flip the script. Before World Cup, they're like, well,
it didn't mean anything.
It didn't mean anything. You can't judge him for 7 games of the tournament. I'm like, yeah. But to me, debate has always been who you prefer, not who's better.
Yeah, that is right.
Because Messi has always been a media darling because media prefer the way he played. Ronaldo's was never been liked because Ronaldo is at the time seen a little bit arrogant.
Yeah,
good looking, tall, athleticism. So you can't really get where Messi perceived like nice guy.
That's what I was gonna say. Much
really
more
talented. Yeah.
Ronaldo's more willing to stay in the spotlight, and I think that fans also don't like that. I think that they like the more humble. Like if you're choosing between two of the best players in the world, the two best players in the world, with no one else underneath them to catch them, the average person, the everyman, I think goes for the guy that's a bit more quiet, a bit more reserved, because they see themselves in that person.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It becomes so little about play and accolades and club and country, and it just comes down to, well, I like him more. And it's like, that shouldn't be the reason that you make these decisions, but I think that we're so much more subjective than we want to believe.
I think that's what Mbappe is going through. But let's that's true, because the game France played France, and I personally picked Senegal, but that's not because I thought Senegal would beat France or whatever. It's just because I like, in this situation, I will always pick the African team.
I was gonna say, like, you just bet the under, don't you?
Yeah. But when you watch that game, Mbappe did not. First of all, Didier Deschamps, I think, I'm glad he's going. Not because I don't think he's a great coach. I just think after 2018, he's really not innovative or creative in that thing, because he has a lot of talent, but he cannot curate a team for the World Cup or national team. You look at that game, you ask yourself, why is Dembele at 7? Why is Dembele you're 8, you're 10? Dembele plays center forward, and if you want him to play any position else, you got to put him on that left wing. You get more out of him. Why is Olise play on that left wing when you saw what the game? That's a contrast. You want more out of Olise? Put him in the middle. Put Dembele on the left. Take Mbappe, put him on that right wing. He doesn't have to, because Mbappe is not good at playing there. You saw when Barcola came, a natural center forward, and Olise went to the middle, the game opened more. Yeah,
well, and they have they had Olise sitting a little deep as well.
Olise can play, like, the thing though, Olise can play anywhere. Yeah, but he's naturally a left-footed. He loves cutting in.
Yeah.
So to me, is Doué. Yeah. Doué should have been the one on the bench, and like, truthfully, there's two things that he should have changed. Rabiot and Doué. Yeah. And to me, if you're gonna have like Zaire, he need to be in that midfield next to like Tchouaméni.
Tchouaméni, yeah.
But put Mbappe on the left.
That's what I said.
I thought Rabiot put Mbappe on the left. Though.
Right. But I think like Zaire would have played a little bit better. Because, for example, like, Doué can come back and help. That's why I think like Rabiot played. But if you're gonna play Mbappe there, you need to put Zaire in there.
Because you gotta have someone that can feed Mbappe, but also at the same time, because of that natural instinct, sometimes it's kind of hard for Mbappe to run in behind the defender because he doesn't see that. So the one action I always say is, like, if you watch him Madrid, you can see that you're not really getting more out of him. Now you're in the national team, you can't say, oh, there's Vini Jr. Just give him his wing. You get more out of him. Take a natural center forward, which you have, Barcola, and you saw that second goal. You saw that run. Right? Because that's what a natural striker would do. And you can see that with Haaland.
You just move, actually, to me, you get the best out by just moving Dembele to that striker position.
That's another thing.
And bringing Cherki behind him and put Mbappe back on his left, like on his left, the wing.
Yeah.
And then you have Mbappe, Cherki, and Olise, and right in front of them is Dembele, who will work his socks off for Mbappe.
Yeah.
And like, they can just interchange all the time. But if you put these guys at 10, he can't really come back and defend in the middle here. That's not his game.
Yeah.
So you move him up top because it's too good to like put anywhere else. And Olise basically have that right wing.
It was interesting seeing Olise moving like way more centrally and way farther back. There were times where he was positioned like not even as a 10. He was positioned as like an 8 that was being told to sit back. Like, why was he so far back? He was sitting between Saliba and Upamecano at times, or like he was the first person receiving the ball in transition, and he's like 20 yards in front of that front line. I thought that he'd be a little bit higher up than that. I don't think that he played badly. It was just surprising for me to see such an attacking-minded, wide player, central and very far back, almost like more of where I would expect Rabiot to be at that time.
Yeah, I think that that's why I have had problems with Deschamps for a while. But when you look at that game, though, for me, one thing I like about Mbappe, the World Cup here kind of delivers. And everybody got to get along with that. No matter how much you feel about him, this is the time. And when you watch that game, he's up there. Now there's people who had bets. They'll be like, who will be your golden boot this tournament? And I said basically, if France goes the extra mile, which I feel like they will, because I think in terms of just talent, and on paper, yes, they just have too many players that are good.
Mm-hmm.
If they go the extra mile, Mbappe will be your golden boot. But a lot of people picked Messi too, which I'm not saying no.
Well,
but
and you know, usually for you to get that golden boot, you know, your squad have to get to the semifinals at least, because it's predicated on the more games that you play, as you know, because you need more time to score those goals. And I agree with you that, you know, unless Messi just hits 2 more hat tricks in the group stage, like I don't see Argentina going as far as a France or even a Spain if they can get their shit together. So yeah, I think that Mbappe is more likely to have that, because you know, Holland, you know, you think Holland as well, but I don't see Norway going far enough for him to get those extra games to get those extra goals. So you're right. I think
plus I think like in the group that Messi's in, like the only other top, it would be Austria. I think Messi can score another hat trick against Jordan. That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
actually
that's the group. Like,
is not.
Yeah, like he can score another hat trick in like by the time they leave group stage, he could have 9 goals.
I was gonna say like what if he gets the golden boot, but they're out by the round of 16? It's just like, hey, I did all my early work, boys. You didn't do the same.
That could be possible because of their group too.
No, Harry Kane to me is like, I think Harry Kane is gonna win it, because the more I've seen him play, I think Harry Kane is gonna be that. But let me go back to the France again. This game, like people are saying, well, France didn't play too well. I'm like, actually, this proved that they're the most dangerous team in the tournament, because they went up against the African champion. Played terribly for half. And still beat the African champion comfortably.
Yeah, you're right. Because
that is scary.
That scoreline didn't reflect how even that first half was, but that second half and that last 15 minutes in particular completely opened up. And that's where your bench really comes in handy. It's like you're bringing on Ryan Shirky in like the 80th minute. Like, this is nuts. This should not be legal, but it is. So there you go.
Probably discussed then from that game, which I'm not cutting. 30 seconds. London, I can't get his name right. Landon Donovan. That guy. People had problem with him because he said France was arrogant in the first half, but some people are saying, which is a lot of people, that it's not about arrogance. They just couldn't find their way in. What do you guys think about it?
Because like people forget that like Senegal love the defensive midfielders.
Yes,
you have the 2 gays in the middle, and like and on the other side, I think was forgot the other guy was also Sarr. It's more like they can defend. You will not get anything in the middle with Senegal, and that's why they were trying to go wide all the time. Eventually they got their success wide because the most talented players are supposed to be on the wide.
Yes.
Well, in Senegal in the midfield, they were clinical. They were all their challenges meant something. They were physical without constantly drawing fouls. They were able to scoop inside and snag the ball off these guys. I don't think that it's arrogance. I think that Ibrahimovic said that it's not arrogance. First off, it's confidence, and I do agree with that, because arrogance, I think, is a bit more unfounded. They have a reason to be confident, and whether or not it gets the better of them, whether or not another team gets the better of them, it doesn't change the fact that they have a reason to be confident. That squad has a reason to be confident, and they've shown that they can get the job done in the past. So, you know, it's one thing to walk in slow or not respect the opponent, but I think that they're all more professional than that. I don't think they're going to walk in against any matchup and particularly disrespect or not value the legitimacy of an opponent. I think that Senegal just played really well in that first half. They made every single challenge count, and they really did not give anybody in that French midfield time on the ball.
That's good.
But the France, to me, I think like the only limitation is going to be their coach. Because not because he's not a good coach, it's because does he have the imagination enough to solve problem? Because he had every single tool in the toolbox.
Exactly.
He has every single tool in the toolbox. It's just how he's going to use his toolbox to fix the problem that arise is going to be the problem. But the talent is so good that the team that left home could win the World Cup. That's how big, that's how talented the French squad is. That the squad that didn't pick, they could possibly win the World Cup as well.
That's the flag he's been catching home to for you guys who know following the French media, and that's been my problem with him since 2018, because I think Pogba and Kante, he can't see the game past those two.
Yes, that is his biggest problem.
That's his biggest
problem.
And that's also why, although I'm not saying Kante can play, because he can always play his butt off, because we can see that. That's why he keeps calling back Kante, because he cannot see the game past those two. What about England? England, German squad. I didn't see the German squad, but that's because I kind of knew that was going to be a bit down.
Yeah.
But the English squad played today, 4-2 against Croatia. It looks like they did very well.
Yeah, they did pretty well. Like the first half was even. They traded a few goals, but like England got enough talent to the point that like some of the players that left home are very good. But this is the first time an England head coach actually pick a team based on how they complement each other, not on star name. Because Phil Foden got left home, Palmer got left home, Maguire, Luke Shaw, a lot of Arnold, big name got left home. Trent Alexander-Arnold got left home. But he picked this team.
They brought Henderson.
Jay
Henney. They brought him.
See, but this is whole point about like building a squad and making sure you bring people that make the squad more like a family, work together. Because even to start the game, he started the game with Madueke and Gordon.
Yeah.
When you have Rashford and Saka on the bench. And because he just know what he's doing. And with like Harry Kane dropping and play almost like a quarterback, finding Madueke on that wing, he works for them, and they were pretty good.
Yeah, and that is the only English game that I expect Madueke to start, because I do believe that Saka was slightly unfit, but when he came on, he did look much better. Madueke always looks great. You know, he's a very hard worker. He tracks back. He runs, defensively as well. Great on the ball. Just doesn't have final product. You know, how many times this past season did we see him absolutely melt a fullback? And then just either cross it in for nobody or take the shot and just sky it into the parking lot. Just and I think he's a great player, but that final product is the only thing missing from him. But is that the guy that you bring in first, for that first 60 minutes to wear the hell out of that fullback and then bring somebody in like Saka that has more of a finished product? It's a very German mindset that Tuchel might be bringing in here, where it's not about starters and bench, it's about starters and finishers. Yeah. You're both equally valuable in different ways. One might get less minutes than the other, but I'm bringing you on to score a goal that we need. So you are as important as those starters who have not fielded a goal yet. So maybe if he's able to do that, then Saka does get less minutes than Madueke, but tactically it makes sense. Whether Saka wants to do that or not, we don't know. I
do believe that like Saka was a bit carrying an injury.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So when Saka is fully fit, it's still like
he should be your starter.
He does everything that Madueke does off the ball.
Yep.
But going forward, he's just a bit more quality.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And on the other wing, I think
efficient too.
After today, I think Rashford should start, because Rashford came on and he was like, he terrified them.
He looked good in that friendly against Costa Rica as well. He looked better than Gordon did in that game as well.
So I thought he was going to start, but he started Gordon because of Gordon worked great. But after today, Rashford, because Rashford, you have Rashford and Saka in that front line with Harry Kane just feeding them, running through. Yeah, England's going to be a problem. And they finally find the perfect midfield partnership. That's been England's biggest problem for a long time.
Yeah.
But Declan Rice and Anderson, that's a perfect midfield.
Anderson has picked up very smoothly, very quickly. I was very impressed by that.
He was actually, I think he was the man of the match today, even though Jude Bellingham played really well, Kane played really well. Anderson in the midfield did anything wrong at all. He was just a steady Eddie, people but he was in a good way.
Yeah.
He mopped up after everybody. He made sure the ball was going where it's supposed to go and stop a lot of dangerous counterattack from Croatia.
I was gonna say it's almost the most thankless position on the field for one of the newest members of the squad. It's like, hey, you're gonna do all the dirty work that no one else wants to do, and you can't make any mistakes at all. And it's like he did all the stuff and he didn't make any mistakes. It's like that's how you come in for a position where that's not what I would want. You really want me to come in for that? It's like that sounds unfun and easy to be hated on by my own fans. But he's Anderson looks very impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about United States, because they're gonna be playing on Friday, right?
Yep.
In Australia.
Yeah. So what do you guys expect about from that game? Now, granted, for me, and we mentioned this earlier, the US has the football that they played. against Paraguay. Now we can always debate about the level of the team, but to be honest, those debates sometimes it count. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I don't value it that much, just because. So you gotta give credit to where credit is due. Yep. Sometimes you might think that this team is not playing at a bigger level, but you never think, what if that the team they're playing is just overwhelming them and they can't play.
Well, and Paraguay being a lower level side than the U.S., but playing and having a history of playing very defensively minded, for you to still rifle in 4 goals like that against a defensively minded side, that's different than playing against a team that maybe is vulnerable at the back, quick on counters with nothing to lose. No, they chose to sit back, and you were still able to put those passes between them. That's a little bit different, I think, than just absolutely blowing out a Curacao that, win, lose, or draw, they're just kind of happy to be there. Paraguay does have that a bit more defensively minded.
I think they only conceded 6 goals during the qualifiers in CONMEBOL, one of the hardest continent to qualify from, and you have to play Brazil, Argentina, all of them twice, and they're going to concede 6 goals. So they were not an easy team to break down. So US doing what they did to them was more impressive for me.
Now
the biggest problem going on with the US right now is the Pulisic injury. Like, I don't know how severe it is, and they say he's back practicing.
Yep, I saw that today.
It's a muscle quad injury. It rarely go away that quickly. But if Pulisic doesn't play, what's the fix? Because there's not a single direct replacement in that squad for Pulisic that does things that he do. And that is the biggest problem you is gonna have, is that how you place your talisman and your best player. If he doesn't continue. Or just don't play him. Hopefully you got enough to beat Australia and qualify for the next round, and sit him for a little bit so the injury can kind of heal.
Because Australia, they can score too. They're forward-minded too.
Yeah.
So that will be, I will want to see how they match up against them. Yep. They're also clinical on the ball in terms of just defending. They were clean. They will let you play with the ball and counter. You saw that. And the fact that they're also efficient on counter, that might be the thing. Because Paraguay was not that efficient on counters.
Right.
So how do you think that game will go? The US against Australia.
I think that Australia had a solid opener against Turkey, and I think that Turkey really let themselves down in that way. I think that Turkey might be a little bit overrated at times. I know that historically they have 1 or 2 absolute superstars in that squad at any given moment, and then kind of rely on that. They're like Arda, we have Arda Güler, we're good to go. It's like, well, there's 10 other guys on the pitch right now, and they're not able to really find that. And if you had the Çalhanoğlu from 5 years ago, maybe he would kind of help compress that midfield a little bit more for the U.S. But I think that he's just a little bit more slow on the ball. I think that even without Pulisic on the wing, the speedy one-touch passes through the middle can still work. But yes, that extra magic on that wing, fielding the ball back into the box, they will miss that for sure if he's not able to play. There are other answers there, but yes, I mean, your talisman being out, that's never good for anybody.
Prediction for that game?
But like for the Australia game, to me, I'm like, if they give just half of the chances that they gave Turkey to that's US, true. Balogun would take one.
Yeah.
Balogun would take one. And you can't give Balogun, like, the defenders playing against, I forgot the striker for Turkey. He was older gentleman, 34 years old, can't quite move like he used to.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing a 24-year-old Balogun who's one of the fastest players in the team. Yeah. That is physically strong.
And has a very underrated finish, too.
His whole play is incredible. And he's a goal scorer.
Yeah,
he's straight up goal scorer. So
I thought that when he was kind of getting early playtime preseason at Arsenal, you're like, this guy's actually a really solid finisher. Yep. Like, what's going on here? And then he moves out to Monaco and is still doing it. And then was with this US squad and is still doing it. You're just like, where is that call up? I think that he's better than a Morocco, but even being in that Monaco being that Monaco side, like, that's still a great club to play for. I think he's slightly above that level as well. I think that no one's able to really figure out what his ceiling is, including himself. But I agree. If you give him those chances that were given, that he. I mean, that
offside against Paraguay. When he scored that offside, that was an announcement for the second goal. So you're right. He would definitely take it. So what are the predictions for that game? 2-1, 2-2, 3-1.
I think it's gonna be like 3-1.
3-1.
3-1,
That's what I was gonna say as well. I think 3-1. Yeah.
Well,
and the problem also, like Turkey keep having, is like they keep crossing the ball.
yeah.
There's a 6'7" center back for Australia, the captain. Like none of you guys are as tall as him.
Yeah.
Like you about like a foot shorter
Yeah.
than the guy you guys trying to cross the ball to I guess one of the biggest center back in the league, in the tournament. It's not going to be a problem for like a player like Balogun, McKinney making a late run into, and like Telsman. I was so impressed with him. Like personally, I thought he was going to go with Berhalter. He went with Telsman, and he had 2 number 8s, and they were incredible.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna overwhelm Australia.
So 12 groups. What are your predictions for each of the 12 groups? Let's start with Group A: Mexico, South Korea, Czech Republic, South Africa. Now, someone said, I think on Twitter or something, that South Africa should just call this and go home and send another African team to take their spot. Because what was that free kick all about?
I don't know. Like beginning, I thought Mexico was gonna win the group because they're playing at home and their home crowd is, and I still think they might pull it off. But that South Korean team is something else.
Yeah,
like
they're a little more
they're
fluid.
really, really good.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a toss up. But I think South Korea might beat Mexico in their next game and finish top of the group, and Mexico is going to finish second.
Yep, I agree.
I choose South Africa. Mexico and Czech Republic. But
bold of you, sir.
Yeah, just because I relied a little bit on the history of Czech Republic in that sense, and the history of Mexico.
Yeah,
but
that Korean side looks fluid, though, man. I don't know.
I will go with South Africa and Czech Republic. I keep saying South Africa.
South Africa,
they're on the mind, man. They're on the mind.
South Korea and Czech Republic. I will stay with those two.
Yeah.
What about Group B? Switzerland, Canada, Qatar, Bosnia. Now Bosnia, I thought I didn't have them, but they were big.
Yeah. But Canada should have beat them. Canada should have really took some of their chance and beat them. But this group is a lot more toss-up than I originally thought. Because I thought Switzerland's going to come and say, hey, man, we've been here. We do this. This is our thing.
Yeah.
Like, win the group comfortably and then let everybody else fight for the second place. I still think they might win the group. And Canada is risky for Canada. They might sneak in, but I don't think Canada is going to finish second of the group. I think they're going to finish third.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be Switzerland's going to win the group.
Yeah.
And Bosnia is going to finish second, and Canada's going to finish third.
Exactly, because I personally I picked Switzerland and Canada, and I was watching the game with one of my coworker, and he was like, before the game, I told him what I picked, and he said, they're not beating Bosnia. I said, what do you mean? He said, those guys are big. And they will not understand. They might have the players, but they will not understand how to match up that size. And that was the problem during that game. So I'll go with Switzerland will come first, and Bosnia will qualify. Then Group C: Scotland, Morocco, Brazil, Haiti. Before I say it, Haiti didn't play bad. They just couldn't finish. To be honest, Haiti played the whole game against Scotland. Scotland just had that one goal, man. Sometimes that one goal is all what you need. And
what a goal.
I know, right? But Haiti played I was really impressed with them. They played because the coach he hasn't set a foot in Haiti. He don't even know how Haiti looks.
So, but, and then really fast, I do agree that if that particular matchup had gone a different way on the scoreline, Haiti would have that chance. But the fact that Scotland got those 3 points off of Haiti directly, I think that's what keeps Haiti out of that top three to move on. And I don't even think that Scotland, if they get that third slot, guaranteed to move on either. But them taking those points off of their bottom tier competition was crucial for them.
You know what I'm gonna say? I would say because Scotland got 3 points, Morocco is gonna come second. I actually think Brazil might be best third. Because I think Morocco would take the chances with Haiti. They wouldn't be able to the pressure would be too much for them. And Scotland, I don't think they can beat Morocco. That's just me.
See, I think like I'm betting on Ancelotti, not Brazilian national team. But I think Ancelotti is going to figure out a way because to get his players to playing, and from the off, like he know that Casemiro ain't got it anymore. He knows now, and I think like they're going to be too much for Scotland and they're going to be too much for Haiti. So that is 6 points for them. And I think Morocco is also going to get 6 points. It just who's going to score more goals.
Yeah. So it will come down to that.
Yeah. And I think Brazil might end up scoring more goals than Morocco because they actually have a guy who knows how to score goals in Vini Jr. So they're going to finish top.
Neymar's coming back.
Morocco's going to finish second. And I think Scotland, their hope is to get 1 point from one of them. Yep. Doesn't matter who it is. Let's just get 1 point from one of the Brazil or Morocco, and we will move on.
Yeah. I don't think your analysis is far too. I think that's the way you spoke about Brazil. I can see it. Just because I think that game, Ancelotti might readjust, and he knows how to get more out of the players, even though the players might not play a system. Yeah. For me, it's just a letdown about Brazil because I grew up with the late 90s, 2000 Brazil, where I could tell every player on the pitch, from Ronaldo.
You gotta let it go, man.
Big Ronaldo to Dida, the goalkeeper, and people don't even know.
The dream's over. You gotta let him go.
Right?
You gotta move on.
Lucio.
I know. And I always tell people, when you talk about the Roman Empire collapsing, to me, Brazil was the Roman Empire of football.
Yeah, well, and then really, really fast. I think it's more about the state of football today, because the Brazilian squad today, still each position is still one of the best in the world, just like Brazil was at that time. But they're playing as a unit, just completely different, and the superstars are just not where they are today. Because I mean, you're right. The Ronaldinhos, the Ronaldo, but like then now all of a sudden it's Gabriel Magalhaes, who great defender and one of the best in the world, but like that shows you that even though they're still the best in the world, the quality of the game overall might have just dropped quite a bit.
I think the way they played, they didn't let their game evolve, but also this new squad of Brazil don't know how to play together with that much talent. Right. Because back in when we talk about, I wouldn't necessarily mention tiki-taka, but that cohesion and unity playing with, you had Ronaldinho, and you could say, well, Ronaldinho might be selfish. He wasn't, because he knew how to play with Ronaldo. Then you had Cafu, you had Roberto Carlos, you had Lucho, you had Zidane, so all these guys knew how to play with each other with that amount of talent, because it's different when you have the talent and they can't play together. Yep. But when you have the talent and they can play together, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's why when Brazil lost, when they lost that 2000, was it 2000? No, they won 2000. When they lost against France?
Oh, it was 98.
98
World Cup.
That people were like surprised because although they didn't, France just announced themselves that to the world at that time, but it was a surprise because he had the best players playing at the best position and they knew how to play together. So that's about it.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's haul ass through these groups here.
Yeah.
Group D.
Group D. United States, Australia, Turkey, Paraguay.
United States, Australia.
You think the best that is gonna come out of that group?
Australia.
Yeah, in the Group D.
Yeah, Australia's gonna finish second.
I think it's gonna finish the way that it currently looks right now.
Okay.
With Turkey in third.
That's my thinking too. Group E: Germany, Ivory Coast, Ecuador, Curacao.
I think it finishes exactly that way as well.
Yeah.
Germany, Ecuador, Germany, Cote d'Ivoire. Yep. I'm coming out of that group.
I'm just gonna mention this though.
Ecuador will move on though. I think they'll finish third, but they will move on.
I wouldn't be surprised if Germany go the extra mile. And to be honest, that team is also very dangerous because they're efficient on the ball. They're not here to play all the going around. We have it there. It's the German way. We go up.
This is the perfect group for them because they've got one team that they can bully, which they did, and then Ivory Coast and Ecuador, while they are on paper and expectations far better than them, those are still challenging sides. Like you should beat them, but they're a good challenge to sort of warm yourself up for those knockout stages. I think that this group really does kind of shake down in their schedule as well in terms of now it's Ivory Coast and then it's Ecuador. It's a slow ascension in terms of quality.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly designed for them to hit the knockout stage and know exactly who needs to be doing what and having top form in the process.
Group F: Sweden, Japan, Netherlands, Tunisia.
Man, I really want Japan to move on. They're so fun to watch. I always like watching them a lot.
Sweden would definitely move.
Yeah,
man.
they'll be
You
first.
saw what's that boy, that Liverpool guy? I keep forgetting his name.
Isaac.
Nicholas Isaac.
Yeah,
Isaac.
Isaac.
But so here's the thing though, like let's play the weakest play team in the group, Switzerland.
Yeah.
So the next game they're playing against Netherlands. If Netherlands beat them, and then they go play Japan, I think Japan probably could beat them. Then that probably drop them down to third. Yeah, because and then I think Japan might finish second. I think this the first. Japan actually, I'm going to predict Japan to finish top of the group.
Wow.
And Netherlands to finish second.
Wow.
I have Sweden and Japan. It's not moving.
I think that Netherlands will pull it out in second place. I think that it'll go Sweden, Netherlands, Japan, and then I don't know if Tunisia really even get a point here, boys.
No.
Yeah. New Zealand, Group G. New Zealand, Iran or Iran, Belgium, Egypt. This is a 1-1-1 group. Draws all over.
I think this to me has been the disappointing group.
Yeah.
Because I expect a little bit more from Belgium, but I think I should stop expecting anything from Belgium. They always disappoint.
Yeah.
Mo Salah hasn't even show up again.
Yeah.
That like Egypt is just like Egypt with Mo Salah is just this is a toss up. You can put Belgium, Egypt, or Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia did all right, but
Iran hasn't trained as a unit for how long? They just show up and you take a point on you guys. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. The group don't even look fun.
Belgium topped the group.
Belgium.
I mean, you have to expect that. I think, and I think that New Zealand might end up finishing second.
Belgium, New Zealand. Group H, same story. Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Cabo Verde.
Spain looked awful. I don't want to get into it, but they looked terrible.
But I would say this though. I think Spain will readjust. I think Spain
without
will
a doubt,
readjust.
100%. But it was shocking how poor they looked.
Spain, you might not believe this.
Spain
I have
is gonna
Spain
be
and
number
Cabo
one.
Verde. You guys might not believe this, but this is what is gonna happen.
I
I think Cabo Verde is going to go through. He's going to finish third.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's going to be Spain, Uruguay.
Yep, I agree.
Group I, Norway, France,
The
Senegal.
group of death.
This is the group of death.
This group is crazy.
Yeah.
See, I think like it's going to be a straight shoot. Like France is going to win the group. The shootout is going to be Norway and Senegal.
Okay.
I think Senegal is going to beat Norway.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're going to go on as the second place team.
Norway are the more
And
physical
Norway's
side
gonna,
of like
Norway going to end up going like a third place.
they're more physical than Senegal in terms. I mean, because they're all huge fucking Vikings. But Senegal kind of proved it in that first matchup, man. I mean, their pace in the midfield, their really well timed tackles, like they're still very physical. I think that they're just a little bit more technically savvy in tight spaces than Norway, and I think that that'll be what
I think they will readjust too because they didn't play bad against France. They just didn't take all the chances that they had.
Yep.
So if they had taken all the chances, it wouldn't have been the scenario that we saw.
Yep.
But you're right. I have France and Senegal. That was my initial thought. Group G. Oh no, Group J.
Yep.
Argentina, Austria, Jordan, Algeria. That's easy. How it looks like.
I was
that's
gonna
how
say
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be.
like,
Yep.
Argentina winning the group.
Yep. Absolutely.
Group K, DR Congo, which for me was a big surprise. Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan.
I think Portugal to top it. I think Colombia second. I think that Congo get in third.
After today, I think Colombia is going to win the group.
You think so?
Yes, I think Colombia is going to win the group. And I think like Portugal is going to readjust and they're going to finish second. But DR Congo is going to move on also as the third place team. But I think
I agree with that.
Colombia is going to win the group because I think they can beat Portugal and they can beat everybody else in the group.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think they've played yet, right? They're playing tomorrow.
Tonight.
Tonight, okay. I'll see how it goes. So I'll just go out in the blue. I say Portugal will get it second. No. Let me do Portugal first.
Get it together, man.
And Colombia second. DR Congo best third.
Okay,
See, I can see DR Congo finish second.
That's not a bad alternative.
Like if Portugal go on and lose to Colombia, like I think they would, that open up the spot for DR Congo because they only have Colombia left and Uzbekistan. And I'm not trying to disrespect Uzbekistan, but they like everybody should get 3 points from them.
Yeah.
Then like it's how you share point among each other.
But they have
There's danger for Portugal.
But they have Kuzanov. Yeah. I'm kidding. That's about
Well,
right.
this is our last group, and we are close to ending this show. Group L: England, Panama, Ghana, Croatia. Now, I will say this: whenever England plays against Ghana, I'm gonna pick Ghana. That's just how it is, because the colonial masters against the colonies.
Sure.
But I think Ghana will give them a tough game. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
But who you guys picking? Originally, I had England and Ghana. No, England and Croatia, sorry.
Yeah.
That was my pick. Just because I think Ghana don't have a 2010 team.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think that as well. I think that what's going to happen to Croatia is that they're an older side, but they're a good side. And I think that the group stage, I think that they're going to burn out. I think they're going to do well in the group stage. I think they're going to move on. But once they start getting into the knockout stage of the tournament, I think it's just going to wear and tear on their bodies a little bit more, and they'll burn out, not because they're not good enough, not because they get outplayed on technicality, but just they run out of steam. But I think that in the group stage is where they end up depleting most of their stamina.
Yeah.
So like, I did like a minor look, because I thought for a minute like they had Kudus.
Yeah.
And I was like Kudus and Semenya and like Iniko Williams. Ghana was going to finish second in this group. Then I've like realized, Kudus is injured.
Yeah.
But to me, it's going to be it's going to be a shootout between like who scored more goals against Panama.
Okay.
Between like
Yeah.
like. So England's going to finish top of the group.
Yeah.
Second place is going to be who scored more goals against Panama, because Ghana and Croatia are going to tie.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down who scored more goals against Panama that finished second in that group.
Yeah.
But I think Ghana is going to finish second in that group.
Okay.
Because Croatia's, their best players are like in the 30s now, late 30s.
Yeah.
And give them with like, the only good thing that Ghana has done this time is that they have a very physical, very fast
Young squad.
attacking squad.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult for Croatia trying to keep them out.
Modric on the transition, trying to keep up, going.
Trying to keep up with those guys. It's going to be
dying of
Ghana's going to
dehydration.
finish second, and Croatia's still going to move on. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
they're going to finish
Yeah, my
third.
problem with Ghana was that they kept calling old players, man, when they had the talent. But nonetheless, thank you to you, Iwan, coming on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Top Corner Podcast.
Another round of applause for Iwan.
Thank you,
Yep.
guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You can catch the you can catch the episode I think tomorrow whenever you release
Yes,
it.
sir,
and
tomorrow morning.
And in both channels, I guess.
At the
you
crack
can-
of dawn.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
You're
See you
welcome.
guys.